Your boy Man Mike coming at you guys with another segment of Ask Man Mike, and this one goes out to Tejsh Desai. Do you think the Falcons are looking at Greedy and Baker to rotate with Isaiah Oliver with the 14th pick? The defensive line class is so much depth that there is a chance the Falcons are probably looking at another Greedy, some in the late round, not to mention the fact that DeAndre hasn't had a chance to really spread his wings out yet. This is a great question. I like the question. I think I will start with DeAndre Baker. Now, DeAndre Baker is an interesting player for me is because of two things. You have Kirby Smart at the University of Georgia. He does a great job of getting these guys ready for the NFL. He played both a ton of man, a ton of zone. DeAndre Baker is a guy that plays pretty much better in man-to-man. Doesn't have a ton of speed. He really isn't. I wouldn't say he has a ton of speed, but he really isn't known for his speed, which is perfect for the Atlanta Falcons game because they play in the cover scheme, so he kind of play off and whatnot. But he is better, much better in man. All right, the Falcons are a team that kind of use both man and zone, so he is familiar with the Atlanta Falcons. It's an easy transition for a DeAndre Baker than a Greedy Williams. Greedy Williams, for me, is a guy that relies heavily on his instincts. Not to say that his instincts aren't bad, but for me, that is something that is really bothersome for the simple fact that if your technique and your IQ isn't really high, all right, that can be a dangerous thing. The Falcons need players with high IQ, and they need guys who can play in both man and zone. And Greedy Williams is a guy, for me, that I think he could be. He's not really as physical that teams may think, and I might get some crazy looks for saying this, but I think he can be beat and in press. I've seen a couple of games here and there where Greedy Williams just relies too heavily on his instincts and his ability, and that's something in the NFL that could get him in trouble. If you look at a guy like Robert Alford, again, he was physically gifted. When you look at his fast, his quickness and whatnot, but he just didn't trust himself. All right, Greedy Williams trusts himself, but I'm not necessarily sold on his IQ, and I'm not necessarily sold on his technique. So I have to see more technique from Greedy Williams. So if I had the chance to say Greedy Williams or DeAndre Baker, I have to say DeAndre Baker because I've seen a ton of what he can do against pretty good receivers. Not so much with Greedy Williams. So, Atlanta Falcons fans, man, no, I do not see the Falcons drafting corner with the 14th pick, even though it can happen. All right, the Falcons, it's unlikely for it to happen. Even though it may happen, somewhere in the second round, if a DeAndre Baker or Greedy Williams is there for whatever reason, I can see that happening. But the Falcons have three corners right now. They have Isaiah Oliver, who has been named the starting corner for Dan Quinn. You have Desmond Trufant, and you have a guy, DeMonte Casey, who has 7 picks for the Atlanta Falcons this season. So when you look at the Atlanta Falcons corner position, there aren't a ton of room for starters, but Dan Quinn did say that he's looking for depth. So do not. I wouldn't necessarily say the Falcons won't draft a corner, but not with the 14th pick. I don't see the Falcons drafting a corner. It's far more likely to draft an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman with the 14th pick in the draft. With that said, let me know what you guys think about this. DeAndre Baker or Greedy Williams. Can you see the Atlanta Falcons drafting those guys with the 14th pick in the draft? Leave your comments below and do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Your boy, Man Mike, is out, man. Peace.